Howdy folks, TJ here. It was a terrible and turbulent weekend for me, Amiga-wise. AmigaOne X5K, Amiga OS, Amiga OS 4.1 Final Edition Update 3. That's been 4 years or whatever in the making. When's the last one we had? 2021? Something like that. Yeah, it was a little bit turbulent, and I thought I'd make just a video. Last night as I slept, I was kind of thinking, do I want to make it a negative video, a positive video, just a fun video? I think just kind of a fun video, but I'll do a few jabs here and there, but always blame yourself first. That's a problem with a lot of these entities that own something. They always want to push the blame to somebody else. So I'll push the blame on me for using this little fat finger and pushing the OK to install. Maybe also my particular AmigaOne X5K set, my computer, the stuff I've put on it over the years. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's the way I put it on here. Maybe it's the way I click the button. Maybe it's some of the programs I put on there. Maybe it's some of the enhancements that I put on there that some people don't like the enhancements. Some people like the enhancements. So blame me first. But then we're going to put a little blame on some other people too. Let me wake up the computer so you can see. It's like a bad haircut. Right now I've got the screensaver going, but let's wake it up. And last video I made of my Amiga, I was putting on infinite icons and all these pretty stuff, and I had the candy going on my computer, so it was all pretty. Now I'm going to wake it up, and that's what you see. And it took me over the weekend to get it done. Amiga OS Final Edition, very bland, very boring. Now, what am I talking about? So, over the weekend, because Amiga 40 was happening over the pond. I'm in the United States, but over the pond, they had Amiga 40 event going on. And normally, there's always some type of announcement. And Hyperion announced that the Amiga OS 4.1 Final Edition Update 3 was out. And so people started downloading and installing. What could go wrong? Number one, blame me. It's October, TJ. Don't install anything in October. It's a spooky month. Shit happens. And what should have happened, took. I'm a took. Hobbit. A few minutes, ended up not working and borking my hard drive, and my computer would no longer boot in the Amiga OS. And then I had a lot of excitement over the 2 days to kind of rebuild things back to this point. We'll chat about them. So again, partial blame. I could have been more prepared. I was prepared. See, the nice thing is I'm not underprepared. I'm not overprepared. I'm kind of in the middle, kind of a lazy git. I have just enough to kind of rebuild if I need to. It's partially my fault, partially other faults, because there is no one easy. Every computer platform in the world, well, I shouldn't say every, but Apple, if you download a new update, you get everything. Windows, you get everything. Now, those two operating systems are hogs and they're pigs, but most of the time there's one entity. You download said thing and you put it on your computer. And they've magically, it's one entity. So that one entity, you normally have some good testing, some groundwork, some making sure stuff works. The problem is when you've got a trinity, the Holy Trinity involved with the Amiga, that Holy Trinity, one Trinity owns the operating system as we know it, and then one Trinity owns the kernel as we know it. Kernel, kernel, and then another one owns the enhancements, the porn side of things, the exciting side of things that makes it do some cool ass things, because without those enhancements, you wouldn't have video drivers that actually make this computer worth a bahoogle. You wouldn't have a driver for the motherboard to do something on Ethernet without having to buy a cheap ass NIC card and stick it in there for Ethernet. So they all have some nice stuff going on. The problem is Tony doesn't like Jane, and Jane doesn't like Frank, and Frank kind of like, you've got this Trinity thing going on, and there could be more. With Amiga, there's no knowing who owns what, and I'm not putting out names here. I'm just having a little fun, but obviously some appear not to be talking to the other, and they do something, and it borks the other person's thing. So far, the only one that I know that it borked their installation from booting is me. Lucky me. Again, so blame me. There's maybe something I put on here that made it happen. I don't think so, but maybe. So blame TJ, blame Canada. It's always Canada. Those freaking Canadians. Anyway, so I installed the update, and it went through, and it was chunking down, and it got to 100% of this update. A very simple download. It was only 36 megabytes. It promised better USB stack and some other things, and so yeah, I wanted to get it. So I slap it on there, and I get to 100%, and the screen stops. It's still stuff on the screen, but it stops. It stops at some background.png, and it never moved from there. Never moved. I let it go for 15 minutes, just in case it was going slow. Never moved. So, oh shit. Okay, so we're going to reboot here. It says 100%, so hopefully it slapped 100% on there. But it never came up with the finish button to click finish. So apparently, when you click finish, it does a few more things. It's 100%, but it does a few more things. Those few more things didn't tweak. So apparently it borked my computer. Now, the funny thing is that same error that pops up, it goes through a booting cycle, and then it hangs at this. And I'm not going to put this stuff up there. That's not the focus of this video. It's a focus of, if you're not hardy, if you don't fight alligators every day for a living, if you don't go out and trap bear, if you don't go out and wrestle alligators and mountain lions and tyrannosauruses, whatever they are, the Amiga platform is not for you. The Amiga platform is for tough folks. I'm not that tough, but I'm tough enough, I guess, to do it. Because if you wanted just to turn it on and it work and all that, and there's some people that will say, oh, there's no platforms that do that. Even Linux these days, I've had Linux, you can throw anything on it. It still works. It still boots, and I can kind of get through shit. It's a little scary and confusing, but this one, yeah, if one little thing, oh no, a dandelion fell on this and not going to boot anymore. It didn't boot anymore. And then from there, it just all went downhill. I rebooted, and I come up to this. It wouldn't boot. I'm all, son of a bitch. A simple Saturday. That's all I wanted, a simple Saturday. So I went through lots of gyrations where I was not prepared. So I've got a whole bunch of USB sticks. And yes, I have a bootable Amiga on the Lake. I'll put it here. Amiga on the Lake. Boot stick that I actually got early on. I purchased my Amiga One, and this is not the Amiga One X5000, by this is an Atari, much better computer. The X5000 over in this is bitchin' ass RGB case. Anyway, so I have a bootable OS, but the problem is the bootable OS dates back to 2000. This one's 17. Because I purchased the computer in 2016. I've got a bootable CD, but I don't have a CD in this computer. The original case it came in, I got rid of. I put it and built this computer CD-less. I went to a USB boot stick, so I have a USB boot stick in an emergency. I've also, over the years, installed AmigaOS many a times. Apparently, I've been in the same boat before, because I'll slap a new hard drive in there and kind of start from scratch. But I'll save an old bootable SATA drive. I've got plenty of bays in this computer, and I just have one in there at all times. It's not plugged in. It's just sitting there collecting dust. But one day when I need to boot up from it, I can. So I have an alternative, older, in this case, this one the Amiga on the Lake installation emergency disk is a Dufecta. It's got enhancer software, older, like 1 point something, and Amiga OS combined together in a bootable way to rebuild your hard drive and put the best of both worlds on there as it saw back then. So it's not strictly Amiga OS. It's not a enhancer only thing. It's one that kind of puts the two together. So it's not a super clean thing, but it's what I got. But it's clean enough, I think. Scrubba. And then my hard drive that I saved had the stuff, a lot more stuff on there. And I actually, at some point, I don't have it over here, but I've got an AmigaOne USB stick. Looks kind of like this, but it says AmigaOne on it. Where did I put that son of a bee's weasels? I was working with so many things. I've been moving stuff around. Anyway, so yeah, I made my own, and I made my own that had some of my own stuff on there. So I had ways to reboot this computer. But unfortunately, when did I install it? I put an RX 580 in this computer. Is it now a year and a half ago? 2 years ago? A year ago? I forget. And so these don't have the right drivers nor the hard drive to do that. And I never made a new one. You can make one. It's not an end user friendly. Most end users just want to turn on the computer and go. This one's a little bit more elaborate. You got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this, and you can make your own USB stick that has newer drivers and stuff on there. I never did that. That's where I blame TJ. I didn't make one of those. So I had a conundrum. I had to go, oh shit. I'm going to have to pull my RX 580. I'm going to have to pull the Radeon 1950 that I have running MorphOS because it's in the way. And I would need to go back to my Radeon 7700 series video card to put in there to boot up from something and try to figure out what the hell's going on. Well, I did that. Luckily, I was able to boot up as I should have. But the problem is, AmigaOS is a funky bitch. Like I said, I'm kind of having fun. Did I start this recording? I want all this to be on. Yeah, I did. And this is a yap video. This is just me bitching and moaning, having fun. I will quickly say that other people are having issues. None of them borked like me, but they're having Amy DVD issues not running. The candy no longer works. That's why I run AmigaOS. I want the fucking candy. I know it's a chintzy-ass thing, but I like little doohickeys like that. It's probably candy that screwed me over. And right now, somebody's going, oh no, it's not the candy. Again, feel free to blame yourself. It's a mixture of you, me, you watching this video, anybody involved with any of this can be to blame because ultimately it didn't work for an end user just plugging it in something simple. But again, blame me. That's perfectly fine. So where was I? So I stuck the old card in there. I booted up. Funky bitch AmigaOS. So I boot up from this, a perfectly clear, very basic OS. But what does it do? The one hard drive I leave connected in my computer, the borked one, it's booting up from this, but it's putting on the desktop the workbench of the hard drive. How in the frick does that happen? It's like, okay, I'll choose you from here, operating system, but I'll choose the hard drive version here. The hard drive, by the way, is perfectly seeable in the Media Toolbox program, but no, it doesn't mount on the desktop. But this does, and it brings up the workbench of the other one, but the contents are of this. What the hell? This is not good. So I went through that, and that's how I booted up. 2 or 3 times in a row, it booted up like that. I said, okay, let's try 5 or 6 or 7 times. It finally booted up to this with the right desktop without my workbench stuff on there. But it wouldn't mount the hard drive icons, and I could figure out no way to bring them up to where I could see what's on there and try to say, okay, let's try to reinstall. What I was going to do is I was going to mount the boot up from this, and then in a USB, I've got this little Volkswagen Beetle that lights up the headlights with the new Update 3 AmigaOS, and I would reinstall it. And maybe would put those things on that were lacking and see if it could reinstall it. Unfortunately, since the drives weren't seeable, it wanted to try to install it on this. So needless to say, I said, no, I don't want to do that. I want this OS to be left alone. It's an emergency one. So I couldn't see the hard drive to play around. I couldn't manipulate it. So I started from scratch, which I've done before. Sometimes it's just good to start with a clean slate. So I had a 512 brand new gigabyte SSD. I slapped it in there. I booted up from this. I went ahead and installed this as it was. And yes, it had some enhancer and some AmigaOS on there, but it got me to a bootable system. I then, since I don't have a CD drive in here, I tried to use a USB CD drive, which has worked before, on here, an external USB one, with my Enhancer 2.2 installation that I bought for $100 from Amiga Kit 2 years ago. But it would launch, it would bring it up on the desktop, but it was having a problem. It was probably a USB stack, or it was probably the USB not liking an external drive, but it would start installation and it would falter. So I couldn't install Enhancer. So I had to get my computer back up on the internet, which always a treat with the Amiga, but I got it back on the internet with the very basics, and then I was able to download Amy Update from the internets, get it installed on the AmigaOne X5K, and then with the internet working, able to go over and download an ISO, because I had one, but I couldn't find it. I should be more organized. Blame TJ, be more organized. I thought I had a copy of the ISO, it's not an ISO, it's an download installation, but I thought I had a copy on another computer. Apparently I didn't. I probably have it on this computer, and the drive's borked, so go figure. So I re-downloaded because it knew I purchased Enhancer 2.2, so I grabbed it. But by the way, I had to install Enhancer 1.4 first to get the Amy, because I couldn't get Amy Update to install. I grabbed it from the internet, I tried to install it, it wouldn't install. I got Enhancer 1.4 that I had a copy of on some stuff, installed it, it worked. I went through to Amiga Store, and then I grabbed my Enhancer 1.2, and I sparingly, now some people are saying that's where you went wrong again. You installed one little snigget of Enhancer. You should only install the video driver, that's it. I'm sorry. There's other things on there, there's data types and all sorts of other enhancements that make this computer fun to use. Without them, it's like playing tic-tac-toe with your fucking grandma. Come on! I need more than that. If that's your thing, perfectly fine. But I want to be able to play an older video game. Now, maybe I need to do that run UAE, and does it need something from the enhancer to do it? I don't frickin' know. I'm not a guru. I'm just an end user. So I did an expert install of Enhancer 2.2 that I downloaded. So again, this took a number of days because it wasn't just put it in and go. You had to, okay, I got to get an older version. I got to do this. Nothing was seamless. Nothing was easy. I need a drink of my drink before it gets too cold. Can I have a drink? I'm rambling, but that's what today's video is all about. Okay. So I'm back in the camera and maybe, I got to wake up. Oh, I gotta wake up the TV. Wake up. There you go. Okay, so yeah, nothing was easy. So I finally got Enhancer 2.2, and I did an expert install, not a novice, where I put everything in there. I tried to be more choosy, and if it logically looked like something I needed, I grabbed it. If it was something that I was unsure about but thought I need, I put it on there. If it's something that I absolutely knew, I wouldn't put it on there. So I didn't put all of Enhancer on there because there's a faction. With every Amiga, there's a frickin' faction. But anyway, there's some, it's always blame Enhancer. The other one, always blame Amiga OS. Then there's another one, and blame the kernel people. I never see that one, but I'm sure there are. And then there's some that just blame the user. Don't blame any of the people that make this shit. Now, most of them are hobbyists, doing this for the love of Amiga, so I'm glad they're here. But damn it, what should have been a fun, easy weekend became 2 days of pulling cards, putting stuff in, and I blame myself for not having an updated, easy-to-use, bootable, with the most recent formatting software, media toolbox, drivers for my video card, things that an end user should easily know how to do, right? No, they don't. You're frickin' the 100 people that use these Amiga next-gen computers, I don't know what the number is, but anyway, they're much more intelligent than me, but there's a few people down here that are just common blokes that enjoy the spiffiness of the operating system, enjoy the quick access and kind of making sense of this directory has that. It's not Linux, so we want to enjoy and play with, but it's not for the common man. It just simply isn't. And it never will be. So I don't know why the owners of said, this is starting to turn negative. I don't want to go there. You're never going to make a lot of money with this. We'll leave it at that. So I don't know why there's still a trinity. Those trinities should morph into just either a friendly commune that love having sex with each other and they enjoy the other's parts and they all put it together to make a seamless, okay, you're making this new thing. Okay, perfect. I want to make sure what my stuff works with your stuff. You see how that works? Communication. My stuff works with your stuff, and the kernel over there, and then the end user over there is going to have a good experience. It's a quadrectra. When you put four people together, an orgy? I don't know, but you put them all together, and they have this communication. Okay, I'm updating this, friend. You might want to make sure it works. Test it together. None of that was done. I can guarantee it. I can't guarantee it. But I'm pretty sure because Amy DVD don't work. The Candy don't work. I mean, Candy's a porn star. Every Amigan wants Candy on there, other than a few of my friends that, no, you only need Amiga OS. But I'm getting carried away, I know, but needless to say, there's a trifecta. In the end, it can bork computers from booting. Sure, blame a little bit of everyone, but ultimately just blame me. No, it's not Enhancer. No, it's not the OS. No, it's not the kernel. It was strictly me going, and I'm doing this on my Atari, which again is a far better computer. Okay, we'll stop there. Next gen Amiga. Yes, I still love it. I still, the drive to want to have a bootable computer. By the way, yes, so I did a lot of shit. But I'm only back up to this point. I have an Amiga OS 4.1 Update 3 with some enhancement together because I wanted the RX 580 back in here. I wanted to watch a video. I want to watch a 1080p movie. I could do that again. It took me the weekend, but I got it done, and I did a lot of card swapping and everything else. I could still boot MorphOS. Now, MorphOS, for those that go, you should switch to MorphOS. The one thing is it doesn't have the Trinity. MorphOS has a group of people working together that get shit done, but it's not perfect. My audio card in here makes it sound like a Balrog. I feel like I'm in Satan's world when I'm playing something. It goes, it's not pretty. So, and it doesn't have the video. I can't play a 1080p or 4K video on that in MorphOS. Sorry, you go show me right now with a straight off MorphOS running a 4K video. Show me, please. Go ahead. You can't. You just can't. And if you can, you're one of the gurus that know how to take hours to do all this stuff to make it work. So MorphOS has a wonderful web browser, much better than Amiga side. So they both have their fun. So I can boot MorphOS. It definitely looks like a more modern operating system. Definitely speedy. It's got a very Amiga element to it. And I want to use it more, but my sound sounds like Hazel next door going, "Yay! Got any smokes?" That's what it sounds like. And so, do I want to decommission my audio card, buy another $100 card, slap it in here, and frick up everything else? No, I don't want to do that. I want to use the one in here, so I'm waiting. Maybe there'll be a driver for that one day, and I'm hoping. If there's not, then maybe I will have to change out audio cards at some point. But I have no scratch. I have no money. I'm a poor SOB. So I can't afford to go out and do that. And after this last weekend, I don't want to swap any more cards for a little while. And AmigaOS, yeah, it's not perfect, but it's a cool operating system. You add some enhancement on top of it. You could do some cool things, cool video drivers, onboard Ethernet, some other data types and other stuff that's cool. The AmigaOS does feel the newer updated USB stack and some other things on here. It feels like my networking is a little faster. Like if I go and launch Odyssey, it feels like it's faster, for lack of a better word. I don't know. And I've seen some other people say the same thing. They went to fast.com and it seemed faster. So anyway, you put all that together. The kernel, I don't know where the kernel is. Have we had a kernel update for 10 years? I have no idea. That stuff gets all lost to me. Again, I'm just an end user trying to have fun with this thing. And I had a scary-ass freaking weekend. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you're just sitting, smiling, laughing your ass off, going, this is kind of funny. Because it is. In the end, nothing mission critical is done on this computer. If you're mission critical, stay away. Stay away. Use your freaking iPhone. Even an iPhone 1 or 2 could probably do more. I'll stop there. So anyway, that was my weekend. I got it back to here. I am going to make, and I'll make a video, I think, of a new USB stick. I'll probably use something other than a Volkswagen. Volkswagens don't give you much, kind of like Amiga, doesn't give you much. This thing's going to run a long time, and it's going to go fast. The odds are it's going to break down and have a lot of oil coming out of the bottom. I should buy a Ferrari version of this that is hella fast, but no, our Ferraris, no, let's just get a Honda. A freaking Honda lasts for 200,000 miles. You never have to put anything other than gas in there. Get a economical, good running, basic vehicle, and that's what Amiga OS and the trifecta need to go over to. Just make this thing into a freaking Honda with a little bit of porn, because TJ likes the candy. Thanks for watching the video. Oh yeah, I can't run candy right now, so candy doesn't work on the new Amiga OS. So during my install of Enhancer, I didn't put the freaking candy on there. And my life has just dropped from 10 to, I'd say 7. I'm not that happy about it. I'm not that happy.